What if I told you the world is not against you? It's not ignoring you. It's not underestimating you. It's not even competing with you. It is responding to you. And the way it responds is based on one brutal rule. It treats you exactly how you silently tell it to treat you. Not through your words, not through your Instagram bio, not through your fake confidence, but through the way you think about yourself when no one is watching. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. In The Prince, he didn't teach kindness. He didn't teach morality. He taught perception. He taught positioning. He taught power. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The world rearranges itself around the image you hold of yourself. If you see yourself as expendable, you will be replaced. If you see yourself as desperate, you will be used. If you see yourself as average, you will be treated as background noise. But if you see yourself as inevitable, everything shifts. This is part one, and by the end of it, you won't see yourself the same way again. 1. The world mirrors your internal status. Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Most people misunderstand this. They think it's about intimidation. It's not. It's about perceived value. People fear losing what is rare. People neglect what is common. The mistake most men make is thinking the world assigns them value. No. You assign your value first. The world simply agrees. If you walk into a room believing you need approval, your body language shifts, your tone softens, your eyes seek validation. Subconsciously, everyone reads it, and they rearrange their behavior accordingly. You become the one who adjusts. You become the one who waits. You become the one who hopes. But the man who walks in knowing he is an asset, not in arrogance, but in certainty, triggers something else entirely. People lean in. Conversations bend toward him. Opportunities seem to appear. Why? Because he does not signal need, he signals stability. And stability is power. 2. Your self-concept is your invisible crown. There is a crown you either wear or don't. No one can see it physically, but everyone reacts to it. Your self-concept is that crown. If you believe you are lucky to be chosen, you will accept crumbs. If you believe you are the chooser, you will set standards. Machiavelli emphasized appearance. He knew rulers didn't just rule through armies, they ruled through image. But here's the deeper layer. Before others see your image, you must see it. The problem is, most people think confidence comes from achievements. It doesn't. Achievements come from identity. If you identify as someone powerful, disciplined, inevitable, your actions begin to align with that identity. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop explaining yourself unnecessarily. You stop shrinking to fit rooms that feel uncomfortable. And slowly, the world adjusts, because now you are acting from a different internal position. 3. The law of internal rank. Every social interaction has an unspoken hierarchy, not based on money, not based on height, not based on followers, based on internal rank. The one who internally ranks themselves lower will subconsciously speak less assertively, laugh too quickly, apologize too often, over-explain. The one who internally ranks themselves higher will pause before responding, maintain eye contact, speak slowly, say less but mean more. Machiavelli understood rank deeply. A prince who behaves like a servant becomes one. A servant who carries himself like a prince creates confusion and sometimes ascension. Internal rank is not delusion, It's discipline. It's deciding, I am not beneath anyone. Not because you are superior, but because you refuse to see yourself as inferior. And when that decision locks in, the world has no option but to recalibrate around it.
4. Stop seeing yourself as replaceable. Most men sabotage themselves with one silent belief: if I don't perform perfectly, I'll be replaced. This belief infects everything. You overwork to impress. You overtext to maintain interest. You overgive to secure loyalty. And in doing so, you communicate one thing: you are afraid. Machiavelli warned rulers against appearing weak, not because weakness is immoral, but because weakness invites attack. In modern life, attack doesn't always look violent. It looks like being taken for granted, being overlooked, being manipulated. The shift begins when you stop acting like a candidate and start acting like the position is yours. That subtle mental flip changes your tone. You no longer chase opportunities, you assess them. You no longer beg for respect, you expect it. And expectation alters behavior. When you expect respect, you don't tolerate disrespect. And when you don't tolerate disrespect, people quickly learn how to treat you. 5. Detachment is the ultimate signal of power. Machiavelli believed a ruler must control perception and emotion. Attachment is emotional exposure. When you are overly attached to outcomes, approval, relationships, status, you give leverage away. The world senses attachment like blood in water. But when you detach, when you are okay walking away, everything changes. Because the one who can walk away controls the frame. Think about negotiations. Think about dating. Think about business. The side least desperate holds the advantage. This is not about pretending not to care. It's about building a life where you genuinely don't need external validation to feel stable. When you reach that point, your energy shifts from scarcity to abundance, and abundance attracts. 6. Rewrite the story you tell yourself. Most people are trapped in outdated narratives. I've always been shy. I'm not that attractive. I'm not leader material. I'm just average. These are not facts. They are rehearsed scripts. And the more you repeat them internally, the more your brain searches for evidence to confirm them. Machiavelli understood narrative warfare. If you control the story, you control perception. If you control perception, you control outcomes. So the first territory you must conquer is internal. Instead of, I hope they like me, shift to, let's see if they qualify for my time. Instead of, I don't want to mess this up, shift to, I belong here. These small cognitive shifts alter your posture, breathing, tone, and decisions, and others feel it before you speak. 7. Scarcity versus inevitability. There are two energies in this world: scarcity, inevitability. Scarcity says, I must secure this or I lose. Inevitability says, if not this, something better. Scarcity clings, inevitability attracts. Scarcity negotiates standards, inevitability enforces them. Machiavelli's prince did not operate from panic, he operated from calculation. He assumed his right to rule. When you adopt inevitability as your mindset, you stop reacting emotionally to setbacks. Rejection becomes redirection. Delay becomes preparation. Silence becomes filtration. And when you stop reacting with desperation, the world loses its leverage over you. 8. The silent upgrade. The most powerful transformations are silent. You don't announce your new mindset. You don't declare dominance. You don't perform alpha theatrics. You simply shift internally. You stop oversharing. You stop arguing unnecessarily. You stop proving yourself to people who already decided. Machiavelli wrote that wise rulers avoid being despised and avoid being overly familiar. Familiarity breeds predictability. Predictability breeds dismissal. When you upgrade your self-perception, you naturally become less predictable. You respond slower. You reveal less. You choose more carefully. and mystery increases perceived value. 9. Think like the prize. This is the core shift. Most people think like applicants. They apply for love, they apply for respect, they apply for opportunities. But what if you thought like the prize? The prize doesn't chase, the prize doesn't over-explain, the prize doesn't beg to be chosen. It stands still and evaluates. This doesn't mean laziness, it means internal certainty. When you think like the prize, your decisions change. You stop sending the second message, you stop tolerating mixed signals, you stop arguing for your worth. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop convincing others of your value, they begin to feel it. 10. The rearrangement effect. When you change how you think about yourself, 3 things begin happening. First, weak connections fall away. Second, stronger opportunities appear. Third, your tolerance for mediocrity drops. It may feel like loss at first. Friends drift, people act differently, certain doors close. But this is not punishment, it's recalibration. The world is adjusting to your new internal status, and anything that doesn't align with it cannot remain. Machiavelli understood that power shifts cause resistance, but resistance is proof of impact. If nothing changes when you change, you didn't change enough.
If you're go to changing how you see yourself, you will about weaponizing it. Because once your internal image shifts, you cannot move the same way. You cannot speak the same way. You cannot react the same way. Machiavelli did not teach power as a feeling. He taught it as strategy. And strategy begins where emotions end. Now we go deeper. 11. Strategic coldness. Most people are emotionally transparent. You can see when they're excited. You can see when they're nervous. You can see when they're jealous. You can see when they're insecure. Transparency feels honest, but in power dynamics, transparency creates predictability, and predictability creates vulnerability. Machiavelli warned rulers against being overly merciful or overly emotional, not because emotion is weakness, but because visible emotion gives others information. Information is leverage. Strategic coldness is not cruelty, it is emotional discipline. It is choosing not to react immediately. It is allowing silence to stretch. It is letting others reveal themselves while you observe. When someone insults you and you react instantly, they control you. When someone provokes you and you remain steady, they question themselves. Calmness under pressure signals internal superiority, and superiority, when unspoken, creates psychological discomfort in others. People begin adjusting around you because they cannot read you easily, and what cannot be read is rarely challenged. 12. The power of controlled visibility. In modern society, everyone overshares. They post every win, they announce every plan, they broadcast every emotion. This destroys mystique. Machiavelli understood that visibility must be calculated. A prince must appear virtuous, but not expose all intentions. When you become selectively visible, something powerful happens. People fill in the gaps, and humans always fill gaps with projection. If you speak less about your moves, others assume depth. If you reveal less about your emotions, others assume control. If you disappear occasionally, others assume importance. Absence creates curiosity. Curiosity creates perceived value. When you are always available, you are taken for granted. When you are strategically scarce, you are anticipated. The world rearranges itself not around noise, but around perceived importance. And importance grows in silence. 13. Emotional non-reactivity. There is a brutal rule in human interaction. Whoever reacts more loses, not morally, strategically. When someone criticizes you and you defend yourself passionately, you are fighting for position. When someone criticizes you and you shrug, smile slightly, and move on, you signal that their opinion
holds no rank in your hierarchy. This is internal rank in action. Machiavelli observed that rulers must avoid being despised, but they must also avoid appearing fragile. Fragility invites testing. If people sense that certain words trigger you, they will use them. If they sense you are stable, they hesitate. Calmness under pressure forces others to recalibrate their approach. They speak more carefully. They test less aggressively. They seek your validation instead. Because humans instinctively chase emotional responses. When you deny them that response, you create psychological imbalance, and imbalance shifts power. 14. Frame control. The frame is the invisible lens through which an interaction is interpreted. Whoever controls the frame controls the meaning. For example, if you are late and you apologize excessively, the frame becomes, "I messed up." If you are late and you calmly say, "Let's begin," the frame becomes, "My time is structured." Small difference, massive psychological impact. Machiavelli mastered framing. He understood that reality matters less than perception. If you constantly defend yourself, you accept a lower frame. If you calmly redirect, question, or remain unfazed, you maintain your frame. Frame control requires internal certainty. If you secretly believe you are inferior, you will subconsciously surrender frames. But if you believe you are equal or higher, you will naturally hold them. This is why self-concept is the foundation of power. Without it, technique collapses. 15. The illusion of effortlessness. Powerful people appear effortless, not because they don't work hard, but because they don't display struggle publicly. Struggle reduces mystique. Machiavelli advised princes to conceal weaknesses and project stability. If people see you constantly trying to prove yourself, they sense insecurity. If people see you moving smoothly, speaking slowly, deciding calmly, they assume competence. Perception shapes treatment. When you adopt the identity of someone who belongs at the top, your movements slow down. You stop rushing replies. You stop over-justifying decisions. You stop explaining your absence. And slowness signals control. Control signals authority. Authority reorganizes environments. 16. Selective validation. Most men give validation too freely. Compliments, attention, energy, without filtration. When validation is abundant, it becomes worthless. Machiavelli believed rewards must be strategic. When you validate selectively, people value it more. If you rarely compliment, but when you do, it's specific and measured, it carries weight. If you rarely show excitement, but when you do, it's genuine, it becomes memorable. This principle applies everywhere: workplace, social circles, romantic dynamics. Your approval should feel earned, not automatic. And when people sense that your approval is rare, they adjust behavior to secure it. The world rearranges itself around scarce rewards. 17. Ruthless self-respect. There is a difference between arrogance and ruthless self-respect. Arrogance is loud. Self-respect is silent. Ruthless self-respect means you do not tolerate consistent disrespect. You do not beg for inclusion. You do not argue for your worth. Machiavelli warned that being hated is dangerous, but being despised is fatal. Despised means people see you as weak, irrelevant, or easily replaceable. Ruthless self-respect prevents that. It means walking away without speeches. It means cutting access without drama. It means choosing solitude over humiliation. The first time you enforce boundaries, you may lose people, but what you gain is psychological elevation. And elevation changes how new people treat you. 18. The identity lock. At some point, you must lock in the identity. No more experimenting, no more wavering, no more switching based on mood. Decide who you are. Are you the man who reacts emotionally, or the man who observes and calculates? Are you the man who seeks validation, or the man who evaluates others? Once you choose, you must act consistently. Consistency builds reputation, and reputation precedes you. Machiavelli understood that fear and respect grow from consistent behavior. If you are unpredictable emotionally, people test you. If you are consistently composed, people adapt. The identity you embody repeatedly becomes your psychological gravity, and gravity pulls environments into alignment. 20. The power of walking away. The ultimate rearrangement tool is this: the willingness to walk away. Not as a bluff, not as manipulation, but as truth. If a deal disrespects you, walk. If a person drains you, walk. If a situation lowers your rank, walk. Machiavelli wrote that a prince must avoid dependency. Dependency erodes authority. When you are willing to walk away, you remove dependency, and the one who is not dependent cannot be controlled. The world senses this energy. Opportunities treat you differently. People negotiate differently. Conversations shift tone. Because walking away signals abundance, and abundance commands respect. 21. The final shift. Become the axis. Most people live as satellites. They orbit around others' opinions, others' moods, others' standards. But the powerful become the axis. Others orbit them. This does not happen through force. It happens through internal alignment. When you know who you are, when you enforce boundaries calmly, when you detach from desperation, when you move strategically instead of emotionally, people feel stability, and humans gravitate toward stability. Machiavelli's core lesson was simple: control perception, control yourself, control outcomes. When you think of yourself as central, not in ego, but in certainty, the world rearranges itself around that center. You stop chasing, you start choosing. You stop reacting, you start directing. You stop hoping, you start expecting. And expectation, when backed by discipline, becomes reality. This is not magic. This is psychological law. The world responds to internal rank. It responds to emotional control. It responds to scarcity. It responds to certainty. Change how you think about yourself, deeply, permanently, and you will notice something unsettling. The same people treat you differently. The same rooms feel different. The same opportunities behave differently. Because you are no longer entering as background. You are entering as gravity.